I had nothing. A small apartment in a city that didn't notice me. Unpaid bills pinned to the wall. A table with an empty bowl on it. Rain on the window every single night. I wasn't special. I wasn't connected. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just surviving. The way a lot of people survive. Quietly, invisibly, alone. Then one Tuesday evening I looked down at the street below my apartment, and there was a black car, matte black. No plates I could read. Engine running. Just sitting there, parked directly below my window. I watched it for 10 minutes. Nobody got in or out. Then came the knock at my door. 3 slow knocks. I opened it. A man in a black suit. No expression on his face, like someone had pressed a button and removed it. He held out an envelope. Black, thick, heavy. Gold lettering on the front. Private and confidential. He didn't say a word. He just held it out and waited. I took it. The door closed. He was gone. I stood alone in my apartment holding this envelope. The rain outside hadn't stopped. The bills on my wall hadn't disappeared. I opened it. Inside was a contract. Dense legal language I only half understood. A non-disclosure agreement. 12 pages. And at the bottom of the last page, a signature line. Beside the contract was cash. More cash than I had ever seen in one place in my life. Bound in a black band, sitting there. Real. I read the contract twice. It said I would provide organizational services. It said I would ask no questions. It said I would speak to no one about what I observed. It said the penalty for breach was significant. I should have put it back in the envelope. I should have opened my door and thrown it down the hallway. Know that now. But I was 3 months behind on rent, and that cash was sitting right there. So I signed. That same night a car arrived, then a plane. A private jet with no markings. Cream leather seats. Fresh flowers. Champagne. I didn't touch. I sat in that seat and watched my city shrink below me. The lights getting smaller. Then gone. Had no idea where we were going. The contract hadn't said. Hours passed. Then an island appeared through the clouds. Below. Green and vast. Surrounded by nothing but ocean in every direction. No other land visible anywhere. We landed on a private airstrip cut into the jungle. A golf cart drove me to the mansion. I have seen photographs of presidential palaces. This was larger. And completely silent. That silence should have been my first warning. They took my phone at the POV. That silence should have been my first warning. They took my phone at the silential palaces. This was larger. And completely silent. That silence should have been my flatly silent. That silence should have been my first warning. Entrance. A staff member in white gloves placed it in a numbered black pouch, sealed it, smiled, said it was policy. No phones anywhere on the property. No Wi-Fi in the guest rooms. No way to contact anyone outside. I was given a room with no windows facing the ocean. Just a ceiling camera blinking in the corner. The other guests were not like me. They didn't talk about where they were from. They didn't need to. You could feel it. The way certain people carry weight without carrying anything at all. These were people who own things, not houses, not cars. Systems, networks, decisions that affect millions of people. They watched everyone at dinner, including me. My job was straightforward. Report to the office at 8 every morning. Organize documents. File reports. Log shipments. Do not ask questions. Do not linger over anything. I was good at looking busy. But there was a door at the back of the office. Always locked. Red light on a keypad. Beside it, authorized personnel only. Every morning 2 senior staff would disappear through it. Every evening they came back out. No expression, no conversation. I started watching, not obviously. Never obviously. I timed the camera sweeps in the office. I noted which guards did what. And when. And one afternoon from across the room, I watched a senior staff member enter the code. 4 digits. I memorized them. wrote them on my palm with a fingernail. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling camera. The red recording light was steady. I breathed slowly. I didn't move. I just waited for the right moment. It came on the third night. A storm was building outside. I tripped the breaker for my room. 15 seconds of darkness. I was out the window and down the exterior wall before the backup camera flickered back on, through the gardens in the dark, past a guard, who didn't see me. Into the office building through a maintenance entrance. The code worked on the first door. Then the second, and then I was through stairs going down, concrete walls, red emergency lighting. And at the bottom, a room I was not supposed to know existed. Rows of black server towers stretching deep into the darkness. Thousands of blinking lights. The hum of machines that hold information worth more than most countries. I found the central terminal in a glass room at the center. I inserted the USB drive I had taken from the office supply drawer 3 days earlier. And I opened the files. I'm not going to tell you exactly what was in those files. Not because I'm protecting anyone, but because some information does something to a person. It changes the way you see everything after it. And I don't want to do that to you the way it was done to me. What I will say is this. The files went back decades. They contained names of people in positions of enormous power, people who make decisions that affect the lives of hundreds of millions of people. And next to those names were numbers. Dates, transfers, coordinates. And one word that appeared over and over in every document: leverage. I was still reading when I heard footsteps on the stairs. I moved without thinking. Behind a server tower. Flat against the back of it. 2 men came down, talking quietly between themselves. They walked past me within 2 meters. I held completely still, did not breathe. They stood at the central terminal for 6 minutes. I counted every second. The words I caught. Names of governments. A window of 48 hours. Something they called irreversible. Then they left through a different door. When the room went silent, I went back to the terminal. The transfer completed. I pulled the drive, tucked it into the lining of my shoe. And walked back to my room like nothing had happened. I lay in bed with the ceiling camera watching me. And I understood for the first time what I was holding. The next morning the world felt different. New guards. Outside the office. The camera indicator light changed from green to red. Actively recording now. The security officer came to my desk. Casual conversation. But his eyes were doing something else entirely. They searched everything. My hands, my face, my reactions. I gave him nothing. That evening I walked past a room with the door open 1 inch. And heard my name. Not said loudly. Said carefully. The way people say a name when they have already decided something about the person attached to it. The storm arrived that night. I had maybe 12 hours. After that, I was not sure what would happen. But I was sure it would not be good. Lay in bed one more time, staring at the ceiling, making the plan. Going through every step, every mistake I could not afford to make. And then midnight came. And I moved. The storm was loud enough to cover the sound of the window opening. I went down the exterior wall in the rain. Through the gardens. A patrol passed close enough that I could hear the rain hitting their jacket. I didn't move, didn't breathe. They kept walking. At the dock the guard was sheltered in his booth, facing away from the water. I timed my footsteps on the dock planks to each crack of thunder. I untied the speedboat with cold hands, fingers slipping on the wet rope. Then I turned the ignition key. The engine was too loud. Even in the storm. The guard's head came up. Alarms began from somewhere in the mansion above. I pushed the throttle all the way forward. The ocean was black and enormous. Waves crashing over the bow. Lightning hitting the water around me. A yacht came out of the island's dock behind me. Its searchlight swept the water until it found me. I drove toward the city lights on the horizon. The only real thing left in the world. In the harbor, the yacht slowed. Too many boats around. Too many witnesses. I abandoned the speedboat at a random pier, ran up to street level, disappeared into the city. A pawn shop was still open. I bought a cheap laptop with cash. Found a motel, paid cash, locked the door, chained. It removed my shoe. The drive was still there. I read everything again in the dark on that broken laptop. Every file, every name, every date. Then I opened an anonymous upload portal, wrote 3 sentences of context, attached everything. And uploaded it. The progress bar filled slowly. I have never watched anything so carefully in my life. Transfer complete. I snapped the drive in 2, ran the laptop under the shower, until the screen died. And then I watched my phone light up with the first news alert. Within 1 hour, it was on every channel. Within 6 hours, it was everywhere. I left the motel with nothing. No bag, no phone, just the clothes I was wearing. And I walked into the city. I have been walking ever since. Different cities, different names, different rooms. They never found me. I made sure of that before I ever entered that server room. The files are still out there. Still being read, still spreading. I don't know if it changed anything. Hope it did. But here is what I know for certain. Some truths are too large to stay underground forever. Some things need to be seen, and someone has to be the one who sees them first, even if it costs them everything, even if no one ever knows their name. Some envelopes should never be opened, but someone has to open them. I'm glad it was me.